So before we get started with today's video, I just want to make a quick disclaimer. I gave birth in Mexico, so the resources that were there for me or that they weren't there for me are going to vary depending on where you are at in the world when you're watching this video. But anyways, so yeah, I gave birth here in Mexico and I had a C-section and it was under general anesthetic. I had a spinal fusion back in 2022. So the epidural just wasn't going into my spine because I have metal plates back there. So yeah, it's a whole, story for itself. If you haven't seen my birth story or my birth vlog, that'll really fill you in. I'll leave them linked up here. But anyways, so to jump into the video, I don't really have too much of like tricks or tips. I'm just like gonna speak about what I did that helped me through my journey. And the first thing that I'm gonna say that helped me through my journey was when it came to packing my hospital bag. I did pack a manual breast pump and some syringes. Now, depending on where you give birth, your hospital might provide you with your own breast pump. The hospital might give you syringes, whatever it is that you need. But here in my situation, that was not a factor for me. So I did have to pack my own breast pump and syringe. And basically, as soon as I woke up, my baby was starving. And so I needed to breast pump. The baby was away from me so long that I passed that like golden hour, that hour that they give you in the baby when they're born to breastfeed. And it's just like a magical moment. I don't even want to get into it because it's such a trigger for me. Yeah, like that's how bad it is. I did not get to experience that golden hour. As soon as I woke up and I was alive again, my baby was screeching to the top of her lungs, and all I needed to do was get that breast pump and pump. Luckily, I did have colostrum in my boobs. Like when I woke up, my boobs just felt so heavy, and I started to pump, and I was able to get like, I don't even know how many, but I did fill up 2 syringes of colostrum, and I syringe fed the baby. So I didn't take a bottle. I didn't want anybody to give the baby bottles. So what I did was I fed her through a syringe the first night that I was at the hospital. And that leads me to my next one that I'm pretty sure everybody tells you, skin to skin, skin to skin. Well, yeah, that's what I did with the baby a lot. Tons and tons of skin to skin. I gave birth and my family was in the US. So obviously I had to send videos and photos. And I had that baby stuck to me so much that my older sister was like, she's just having the boob in the baby's mouth the whole time. And I feel like that's what breastfeeding is, especially the first few days that you get to know your baby. Everything is just boob, After you change the diaper, if, he or she is still fussy, it's just give them the boob. If they're sleepy, give them the boob. If their tummy hurts, give them the boob. And so everything is just give the baby the boob. And yeah, I really feel like that's what helps you a lot. And I feel like the syringe really helped me not confuse my baby, even though I passed that like golden hour and the baby was kind of like, I would put her at my boob, but she just wouldn't know what to do. She wouldn't close her mouth. So I would get frustrated. The baby would get frustrated. And it's like, baby, the boob is right there. Just close your mouth and suck. And she just wouldn't. So I swear that like the first few days, I was just feeding the baby through a syringe. And then like I spoke to my mom and she gave me the best advice, ladies. Like this is the best advice. I have 2 little golden tips. The first one, my mother told me, get some formula, ask for some formula, and add a few little drops of formula onto your nipple and put the baby on there. And sure enough, my baby latched on. And thank God that My baby didn't have a bad latch. I didn't suffer with any of that. I put a few drops of formula on my nipple and she smelt it. I don't know what the difference was. I would put I would put my own drops of milk on my own nipple and she just wouldn't do it. I put drops of formula on there and she just grabbed that sucker. And ever since then, my baby has been breastfed, and it was all helped to adding a few drops of formula on my nipple, and the baby just knew what to do. I don't know what it was or how it was, but that's what worked for me. And I'm just so grateful for my mom and her tips on that. And then the second tip is invest in an ointment for your nipples. I watched tons and tons of videos, and maybe I just wasn't clicking on the right ones. But the videos that I saw for breastfeeding, none of them recommended getting this ointment. So they sell like these little ointments that are organic, and they have like all types of ointments. But it's an ointment for your nipple, and it's just like a chapstick. You put that on and it's supposed to nourish your nipple at the moment, because I mean, you're going to, just wait. You are going to be in a lot of pain when you're breastfeeding the first few days. And I feel like that ointment was really what helped me get through the breastfeeding process. There were some days where I was like, you know what, like, just please go and get me a bottle. I can't do this no more. It hurts. It's frustrating. It's time consuming. Nobody can help me, because that's one thing with breastfeeding. Nobody can help you. It's not like, oh, I'm going to take a quick shower. Can you feed the baby? There's the bottle. Like, unless you're pumping, but like the first few days, like, you're still even barely getting a hang of it. You don't want to give the baby the bottle because it's going to cause confusion. So it's like a whole thing on its own. But yeah, that ointment really, really helped me get through it. Once I started applying that ointment, I don't know why it took me so long to get that ointment out. I think I was already like day 3 of breastfeeding, and I was just in excruciating pain. My nipples were dry. Like anybody who my shirt was hurting my nipples. Like, that's how bad it was. And I don't know, I just started going through my things, and I remembered that I had that ointment, and I put it on there, and I think that's how I've gotten so far into my breastfeeding journey, because my nipples didn't hurt no more. So it was just like, practicing with the baby, just, feeding her and doing skin to skin, and it didn't hurt no more. I will say that it did hurt like the first 30 seconds when you're breastfeeding, but that's just only in the beginning. After that, it goes away. And then I guess this is kind of just like a recommendation. When you start breastfeeding, you are going to get so thirsty. Like, as soon as you put the baby on your breast, you are going to get like this sensation that you're like on a desert and you haven't had water in like, I don't know how long, but you're just dehydrated. So what I did was I got myself a cute little water bottle, and I carry that with me the whole time. And that's kind of like how I made sure that I got the proper amount of liquids in, because remember, if you're not drinking enough liquid, you will not produce enough milk for your baby. So I think it's just something that our minds or bodies naturally do, that as soon as the baby starts, sucking milk out, our brains just tell us that we're thirsty, just so that we have enough hydration and we can produce the milk that we need to produce. I'm not going to get into that whole like scientific thing. You can watch videos on that on your own. But yeah, get yourself a cute little water bottle, because I promise you, you're going to be thirsty. And then I guess like my last little advice for you guys is, honestly, I would say like the first month, I really wouldn't worry about like if the baby's getting enough milk. If you're breastfeeding, I just recommend that anytime that the baby cries, if the baby isn't getting a diaper change, just put the baby onto your boob, and I'm pretty sure that, whatever the baby's feeling is going to go away. Just feed the baby. Like, if the baby's crying, just put your boob in the baby's mouth, and that's it. And it doesn't matter if the baby's latching on 3 times within an hour. Like, just don't count that. Just feed the baby. Make sure that the baby's diapers are just make sure that the baby's having enough wet diapers and poopy diapers that is recommended for their weight and their age range. But other than that, like, don't worry if your baby's at your breast the whole time, because it's a whole new journey and the baby's learning, and it's kind of hard to get the milk out for them. And I mean, it's just like a whole journey on its own. But those are my little tips and tricks with it. It's such a beautiful experience if you can and have the time to do breastfeeding. I definitely recommend it. And yeah, that is, what helped me get through my breastfeeding journey. I'm only 8 months in. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. I hope that it was helpful for you. If you have any tips or tricks or questions or anything that you want to ask me, make sure you leave me some comments down below. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.